Melanie als die Erste. Unser Gymnasium nimmt am Experiment zweite Fremdsprache teil. Im Rahmen dieses Experiments arbeiten wir mit dem Gymnasium Nummer 2 der Stadt Novopol zusammen. Wir lernen zwei Sprachen. Englisch ist die Hauptsprache und Deutsch ist die zweite Sprache. Wir entschieden uns, Schüler der 7. Klasse direkt zu befragen. Folgendes haben sie uns gesagt. Wir treffen uns einmal in der Woche. Wir haben eine gute Idee, mit den Schülern des Novopoles Gymnasiums zu korrespondieren. Wir schreiben und malen Visitkarten. Das war schon interessant.
Dann haben wir uns entschlossen, Visitenkarten über unser Gymnasium auszutauschen. Unsere Freunde aus Novopolis haben uns ein wunderbares Album über
Unique Heart is amazing history, culture, and beautiful nature. It attracts a great number of tourists every year. Brussels district is open to various culture and people, and at the same time it keeps the national traditions of the region, especially that of the Brussels Lakes region, its landscape, nature, clean air, and the opportunity of traveling in the border district of these two countries. Because tourists can spend a lot of time in our own town, so they need to know where they can exchange money, buy food and souvenirs, and even medicine. The places we placed on our map are the following: Zankowe Hill, the Orthodox and Catholic churches, the Museum of Crafts, Brussels Historical Museum, Brussels Bus Station, Brussels Market, shopping centers Betanisch and Europe, souvenir shops, and islands of presents, and be happy. The holiday destination Brukovanka, towns, beach, cafes, пляжные, на грани, суши-дом, пышечная 8, beauty centers, Brussels Joker Park, a post office, a bank, sport facilities. The map is interactive. All buttons are clickable, and tourists can click and search information about these places and even watch videos. Of course, Brussels has more places to visit, and we will continue our work on this topic and add more information. Thanks for your attention.
And I'm Alisa, and we want to present our work with you.
Do you like cartoons?
Do you like playing games?
Do you think that phrasal verbs are difficult to learn?
If you answer yes, at least one question, then the results of our work will be interesting and useful for you.
Nowadays, English plays an important role in our life. It helps us express our thoughts and feelings.
Yes, that's right, but it is rather hard to learn it, especially when we talk about phrasal verbs. It is difficult to understand the meaning of phrasal verbs when reading a text or watching a movie. To learn them by heart is boring, so we decided to see if it is possible to learn phrasal verbs watching movies for kids. We like watching Peppa Pig in Russian, and we have chosen that movie for the analysis.
In our research, we want to answer the following questions. Are there any phrasal verbs in cartoons for children? What are the most frequently used phrasal verbs? Is it possible to learn phrasal verbs watching cartoons for kids?
The hypothesis of the research paper is that it is possible to understand the meaning of the phrasal verb from the context and to learn them by watching Peppa Pig movies.
At first, we define the aim and the tasks of our work. You can see them on the screen.
Then we chose of the research. Then we chose the method of collecting data and analyzing it. We created some tables to show the results. And we watched, can you imagine, 102 series?
Yes, and it was only the beginning. By watching, we were writing out all the phrasal verbs, and it was not easy, because they look like verbs with prepositions. So, we decided to use only dictionaries to check our ideas.
And we found 85 phrasal verbs. What do you think is the most popular one?
Come on, yes, it appears 33 times in the movies. It is intransitive inseparable phrasal verb. By the way, all the phrasal verbs can be divided into 3 groups: transitive inseparable, transitive separable, and intransitive inseparable.
According to the results presented in the table, you can see that intransitive inseparable phrasal verbs are used more often than the other types.
Then we decided to create a game that can be useful both students and teachers and can help them work with phrasal verbs more effectively.
We surfed the internet and made our choice in favor of generally and wordbalnet. We saw these resources in our English class and liked them so much.
We decided to create a snakes and ladders board game on Peppa Pig races on January, using some interactive elements that open tasks on portable.
It's a usual board game where players roll the dice and move their counters but if they land with a special button, they should do the task provided. If the task is done correctly, the player can move forward. If not, miss their turn.
The first player who reaches the highest space on the board, 100, wins the game. And there are 12 special buttons, as you can see.
You can scan the QR code at the screen and play this game. Here you will find 12 places with different tasks to do. All of them based on season 1 and 2 of the Peppa Pig movies and are presented in different forms.
Yes, such as match-up activity, group sort activity, and jumble the sentence, open the box, and a lot more.
We tested the game by asking our friends play it. And the results of the survey were quite positive. All 26 participants admitted that now they consider learning phrasal verbs easier.
In conclusion, we want to say that our hypothesis was partially proved because it is not always possible to understand the meaning of the phrasal verbs from the context. But it is quite probable to learn phrasal verbs watching cartoons for kids.
To sum up, we can say that the results of the research work will be useful both for students and for teachers who want to make the teacher's process more interesting and successful. We are ready to answer your question.
All people are looking for happiness, and everyone wants to be happy. But nobody knows exactly what does it mean to be happy. In our research, we decided to look into this problem and to find out what does it mean happiness for Belarusian and English people. As the language reflects worldview of the nation, we examine physiological units with the meaning happiness and their functioning. The emotion happiness acts as a psychological state in which a person experiences inner satisfaction with the conditions of his being, the fullness and meaningfulness of life, the fulfillment of his destiny. In the course of the physiological expression study, out of the total number of selected units, we found one pair of complete lexical equivalents, where there's a coincidence of formal and semantic features. To be in seventh heaven, быть на седьмом небе от счастья. At the same time, a lot of Belarusian and English physiological expressions are connected with the images of the sky, the sun and stars. For example, Belarusian physiological expressions «Народився под счастливой зоркой», «Солнце заходит», «Свет отчиняется», and English equivalents «Stars in your eyes», «Over the moon».
My name is Yanushkevich. We have chosen this theorem for our scientific research work as it is quite evident that everyone should know at least one foreign language nowadays, as our world is constantly changing and knowing one or more foreign languages makes it possible to get acquainted with different ways of thinking to understand other people during traveling or communicating.
English has become the leading language in all spheres of human activity in the 21st century. It concerns business, politics, traveling, communication, searching for a prestigious job. English is an inseparable part of modern world.
Most people are sure that it's difficult and even impossible to learn English on their own. However, it is far from being true. There are many ways and means of learning the language, beginning with listening to songs, watching films in English, studying dictionaries and self-study books, traveling, talking to people who speak the language, read in English, changing your phone setting to English.
In our book, we have tried to show how to use various internet applications and platforms to learn English. We have also compared the most popular of them for learning. We have prepared a questionnaire for the junior and senior students of our gymnasium to find out their opinion about the best and the most popular among them.
Research objectives: to examine all available mobile applications for learning English,